Hello and welcome back to the Intuitive Living Eating RD podcast with myself, Kathy Richards, registered dietitian. How do we navigate diet talk through the holiday season? So this is a big question that comes up with my clients. So I thought I would hop on today and walk you through some easy ways to respond to others that might bring diet talk to the table. All right. So it's a common thing that comes up when we connect with other people, and often that involves eating with other people. It can bring up food comments, body shaming, the good versus bad food kind of talk. So I thought it might be easy to walk through a couple of ways that we can deal with that. My name is Kathy Richards. I'm a registered dietitian with over 24 years of experience, and I help women in midlife learn to listen to their body through intuitive eating. My website has just relaunched, kathyrichardsrd.com. You can go there, find a lot of my free guides. You can find links to my previous podcast episodes, and you can look at how to work with me if that's something that's interesting to you. So holiday gatherings, it's a great chance to connect with people. It's a great chance to try and taste different food that we may not have seen since last year at the holiday gathering, right? There's certain traditions and foods that might come up just this time of year. So the tendency can be, sometimes to feel real hesitation towards attending holiday gatherings if we're not really in a place where we feel confident in our food and our relationship with food. So I thought today it might be helpful to go through 5 or 6 quick responses to how other people comment on your body or on the food choices that you're making, and have just kind of a response in your back pocket. So one of the big things might be, that people think it's okay to comment on your weight. I don't know why. As a society, it's been this way, but we don't know what's causing someone's weight to change. We don't know if they've been under a lot of stress. We don't know if they're sick and that's why they've had weight loss. We don't know if, they have a new health condition and that's why they have weight gain. We don't know if they're really overcome and overwhelmed and forgetting to eat. And we can be praising behaviors and praising body changes that have nothing to do with the actions that that person's taking, and really at the end of the day have nothing to do with the worth of a person. Our body weight does not define our worth, and I think that's something important to remember. And really, how we feel about someone else's body, it says more about us versus anything about that person. If someone else's body makes you feel uncomfortable, I would invite you to explore that on a deeper level. Like, why are you uncomfortable? That often leads to understanding that we're not comfortable with our own body. And that's a whole journey to heal your relationship with food, right? That's exactly what I help my clients with. So what if someone comes up to you at a party? Maybe they know that you've been going to a weight loss program, or you've been working with a health professional, or you've been trying intermittent fasting or keto or some other diet. And they say, like, has your weight changed at all? That's a great time to take a pause, take a deep breath, and you can say, I'm trying not to focus on my weight anymore. I'm actually trying to listen to my body and do what feels right. It feels really good, and I find that a lot less stressful. Okay, so we don't have to get into, no, my weight hasn't changed, no, my weight's gone up, or, oh yeah, my weight's gone down. We can just say, like, I'm learning to listen and trust my body. Is super cool. It's how, we start life and then we lose those skills. And I'm actually learning a lot about food that I like or food that I don't like, or how different foods make me feel. And I feel good about that, and I'm less stressed. Okay, that will kind of stop the weight conversation. If you're picking a food at a meal and someone says, that has a lot of calories. Yeah, that has a lot of calories. Calories are energy and our body needs energy. And I feel like having some of this food, so I'd wish that you wouldn't comment. Okay. Have some more food. This is a common one that clients come to me with. And it used to happen to me often with different family members that I would be eating with, that they want to give food. That's a way for a lot of women to show that they love us, by providing food. I learned a trick where, I would just leave a little bit on my plate so they wouldn't continue to offer me food. But if you feel comfortable, you can respond to that and say, "Thank you. I'm okay right now. It's so good that I might come back in, for a bit more later, but I'm good." Okay. And don't be afraid to put that boundary down. It can be hard. Food, connection, boundaries, they're all kind of interwoven. And it can be hard to put boundaries around food with people, especially when we've got 40, 50 years under our belt of just not having that confidence to really set that boundary. So it's something that we're learning. It's something to be curious about and try it. And often when I'm working with clients, we'll try to set a boundary in a situation that's not, or we call it asserting yourself, in a situation that's not as close to home, maybe. Like, so it might not be with family. It might be if you go to a restaurant and you're really trying to focus on listening to your body and fueling your body in a way that feels good to you. It might be asking them not to bring that bread basket because you might fill up on that and then you won't enjoy your meal. Not about not having the bread. It's about respecting your body's hunger and fullness cues. Or it might even be just as simple as, if a cashier asks you if you want to donate to something, as simple as saying, "No, not today," right? It's a skill. A lot of us haven't had that opportunity, or we learned how not to assert ourselves over time because of, society. So it can feel uncomfortable sometimes to go back to that. But when we think about food and navigating diet talk, that boundary setting is going to have a role. What if someone says, "I'm going to feel so gross tomorrow. I ate too much." That's a great opportunity for us to step up and say, "We don't talk about our bodies like that. You won't feel good if you keep talking about yourself like that either." Body talk, there's no reason for anyone else to talk about their body or anyone else's body at a meal. So that's a boundary that can be set. And, all bodies are different. We could all eat the exact same food, do the exact same exercise, and we would all look different. And that's the diversity of bodies. And it's quite amazing if you think about it. If somebody says to you at a meal, "You're going to have more of that," then you could respond with, "I am, and it's delicious." So there's ways that we can phrase it. We don't have to be coming from a place of annoyance or irritation. If we practice ahead of time some of these responses, it can feel a bit easier. So I did have a client last year who was going into a holiday eating situation. They recognized that they weren't comfortable with it. And they kind of hung on to my support as the backbone that kind of got them through that eating experience. And they knew if they didn't eat, even if it was going to be a big meal at the end of the day and there's going to be all this food available, they knew if they didn't eat on that consistent basis, that foundation throughout the day of protein, fat, carbohydrate, that they would be starving by mealtime, have a hard time to control their hunger, and eat to a point of not feeling great. So in that situation, they prep themselves to say, "I'm working with my dietitian, and in that work, I'm learning how to eat consistently, fuel my body and get the energy that I need and feel good and not get to a point where I have to overeat and feel stuffed. I like to eat and feel comfortable." So they were able to bring that up numerous times that, "Thank you for your concern," or "Don't appreciate the comment. I'm actually following my dietitian's recommendations and I'm actually learning to listen to my body and that feels good to me." Okay, so navigating diet talk, it can be hard. It happens everywhere all the time. I know at work, around, in the lunchroom, around the water cooler. Everyone wants to share what they're doing and how it's working for them. But diet culture doesn't have to be something that you need to listen to. You can even say, change the conversation. There's so many more interesting things we can talk about. Dieting isn't something that I'm going to focus on anymore. All right, so I hope those were helpful. If this was useful, share it with a friend and tune in for the next episode on weight loss and intuitive eating and how do those work together. All right, I wish you a wonderful holiday season. Thanks for tuning in.